The outer join query is a little bit slippery the first time you try to think about it, but once you see it take place a couple of times, you're all over it, and you're going to use this quite a bit. I've used it a ton in providing very quick informal reports to executive types or to feed data reports. So let's take a look at this. There are three types of outer joins. Now remember, an inner join says whenever the two common columns between two tables match, return something. But that's the only time you return anything is when I get a match. Well, the outer join, if we do a left outer join, says return all the rows from the left table. The left table being the table that's on the left side of the join statement in the query. So return all the rows from the left table and just give me nulls for any unmatched right table columns. So if I had for example, a business entity ID that I was matching on, I had a business entity ID on the left table, but I didn't have one in the right table. I will show the business entity ID and whatever columns we're looking for out of the left table. Then I'll show a null for the right table, and I'll show you this a little bit later on in code. Now, a right outer join is just the opposite. Return all the rows from the right table, the table on the right side of the join keyword in our query, and give me nulls for any unmatched left table columns. And then a full is just a left and a right combined. All rows from both sides, from both tables, and nulls for any unmatched table columns. Now let's look at this query that we're going to run, and I'm just going to show you a visual here, okay? Notice the same query we had before. Select first name, last name from the A table, phone number from the B table, but this time we're going to do a left outer join, and we're joining where CID in both tables are equal. And so we can immediately see 285 and 285 are equal, so we return the last name and the first name and the phone number. 293 equal in both tables, names, phone number. 2170 equal in both tables, names, phone numbers. 1843, no entry in the right table, no 1843 CID. So we return Mark Long, the first and last name that we requested in our select statement. From the right table, we're just going to return null because there is no data out there for it. Now let's jump out to the SQL Server Management Studio and look at an example in code. Now we're going to be working in the sales.customer table, in the sales.salesorder header table. So I'm going to select the top one row from each of these, and I'll highlight them both and execute this. And this is what my tables look like. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this customer ID right here. And notice if I move all the way over here, there is a customer ID in this table as well, but it's not positionally in the same place. So don't let that throw you. But all I want to see is when my customer IDs match, I just want to see when an order was placed. What's the order date? Now, I want to see all my customers. Keep in mind, you might be a customer of mine, even though you've never ordered anything yet, but I'm going to keep selling and I'm going to keep, contacting you and showing you all the cool things we have because you're going to be a customer. Just because you haven't ordered does not mean you're not a customer of mine, right? So I want to see a list of everybody in my customer table. But when I look at the sales order header, if I look at the order date, then I know that they've placed an order from me. And this also tells me who I really need to be talking to, right? So I'm going to make that result set go away, Control R. And I'm going to copy and paste a query in here so we have time to go through it. I'm going to get the customer ID out of my sales customer table. Notice that's aliased as C. And out of the sales order header table, which we've aliased as SOH, I'm going to get the order date. Then I'm going to make it a left outer join. Here's my join clause. The customer is on the left. If I put all of these up on one line and brought this up, right, you can see that that's the left table. Sales order is the right table. And so I'm going to push that back down so that we can see. And let's run this query and look at our results. Okay, and so I'll execute the query. Now notice it's going to return 32,000 rows. And so, for example, for customer ID 29825, they placed an order on 7/1/2005. And as I scroll down, I see the various dates that these different customer IDs have placed orders. But as I get down toward near the end, you'll notice nulls start to pop up. Customer ID 191 has not placed an order. I need to send some salespeople out there, right? I need to make a phone call, send a ham at Christmas, whatever. But I need to get something going on with that customer, find out why they haven't ordered yet, okay? So this gave me everybody, all the customer IDs from the left table, and all the order dates from the right that matched. And if there's no order date there, then it returned a null. And notice if you can hear my mouse wheel rolling, I can scroll down until I find where my nulls start. And that is people who have not yet exercised the good sense to place an order from my company, right? So that is how I can use the left outer. Now we could switch these tables and do a right outer join and get exactly the same result. All right, now I'll leave that out there with you in the example code and you can play with that. But that's a real quick look at the outer join.